Welcome to Lunch Break Wisdom. Short ideas from the world's most influential books, designed for a quiet break between work, a commute home, or a moment to think more clearly. Today's episode explores one of the most beloved and influential Christian books of the 20th century, Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. Lewis was not always a Christian. As a young man, he identified as an atheist. He valued logic, evidence, and rational inquiry. His eventual return to Christianity emerged not from emotional experience alone, but through a long process of intellectual wrestling. Originally delivered as a series of radio talks during the Second World War, Mere Christianity sought to explain the core beliefs shared across Christian traditions. Lewis wasn't interested in denominational disputes. Instead, he asked a more fundamental question. Is there something universally true about morality, humanity, and our search for meaning? One of the book's most famous starting points is what Lewis calls the law of human nature. He observes that people everywhere appeal to some idea of fairness. Children protest, that's not fair. Adults criticize dishonesty, betrayal, or cruelty. Even individuals who violate moral standards often attempt to justify themselves rather than deny the standards entirely. Lewis suggests that this points towards something deeper. People behave as though they recognize an objective moral law. Not merely personal preference, not simply social convention, but a sense that certain actions ought to be pursued while others ought to be avoided. Whether or not one agrees with Lewis' conclusions, this observation raises important questions. Where do moral intuitions come from? Why do people experience guilt? Why do concepts like justice resonate so deeply? The second major theme of Mere Christianity concerns human inconsistency. Lewis argues that people not only recognize moral standards, but also regularly fail to live up to them. We know we should be patient, yet we lose our temper. We value honesty, yet we sometimes distort the truth. We advocate compassion, yet we can be selfish. This discrepancy reveals an uncomfortable reality. Knowledge alone does not guarantee transformation. Many people know what constitutes healthy living. They understand the importance of exercise, kindness, discipline, and forgiveness. Yet implementation remains difficult. Lewis invites readers to confront this gap honestly rather than defensively. Another fascinating section of the book explores different understandings of God. Lewis suggests that the universe itself raises philosophical questions. Why does anything exist at all? Why does reality appear intelligible? Why do humans search for meaning beyond immediate survival? Again, readers may arrive at different conclusions, but Lewis encourages serious reflection rather than passive assumption. Perhaps the most famous argument in the book concerns Jesus himself. Lewis contends that Jesus cannot easily be reduced to merely a wise moral teacher. He points out that Jesus made extraordinary claims regarding his identity and authority. This leads Lewis to propose what has become known as the Lord, liar, or lunatic argument. If Jesus knowingly made false claims, he would be deceptive. If he sincerely believed false claims, he might be deluded. If his claims were true, then they demand serious consideration. Critics have challenged aspects of this argument. Supporters find it compelling. Regardless, Lewis encourages readers to engage honestly with historical claims rather than settling for simplistic assumptions. Another profound theme within Mere Christianity concerns the nature of virtue. Lewis argues that morality extends beyond isolated actions. It involves the cultivation of character, becoming honest, becoming courageous, becoming compassionate. In this sense, ethics resembles craftsmanship. Repeated choices gradually shape identity. Who we become depends partly upon what we repeatedly practice. Modern psychology increasingly supports similar ideas. Habits influence personality. Small decisions accumulate, character forms incrementally. Lewis understood this long before neuroscience popularized such insights. The book also explores the tension between individuality and surrender. Many people fear that spirituality diminishes authenticity. Lewis suggests the opposite. He argues that people become more fully themselves as they move beyond excessive self-centeredness. The more individuals obsess over protecting ego, status, and control, the more constrained they become. Paradoxically, releasing rigid self-preoccupation often expands freedom. This principle appears across various wisdom traditions. The ego promises fulfillment through acquisition, yet lasting peace frequently emerges through service, humility, and connection. Another major theme is transformation. Lewis rejects the idea that religion exists merely to make people slightly nicer. Instead, he describes a more radical process. Christianity aims to reshape individuals from the inside out, not cosmetic improvement, fundamental renovation. He compares this process to remodeling a house. At first, repairs seem manageable. Fix the plumbing, patch the roof, but eventually the owner realizes that the architect intends something much grander. Walls shift, new rooms appear, expectations change. Personal growth often unfolds similarly. Many people initially seek comfort, stress reduction, productivity hacks, yet genuine transformation may require confronting deeper patterns. Fear, pride, resentment, insecurity. This process can feel uncomfortable, but discomfort sometimes signals growth rather than failure. Lewis also addresses the role of humility. Humility, he argues, is frequently misunderstood. It does not involve self-hatred or denying strengths. Rather, humility reflects freedom from excessive self-focus. Truly humble people often appear relaxed, curious, interested in others, secure enough not to dominate conversations or constantly seek validation. In a culture saturated with self-promotion, this understanding feels refreshingly relevant. Another memorable aspect of Mere Christianity involves Lewis's treatment of hope. Human beings possess desires that nothing within this world completely satisfies. Achievement disappoints, pleasure fades, recognition proves temporary. Lewis suggests that such longing may point beyond immediate experience. He famously wrote that if people discover desires no earthly experience can satisfy, perhaps they were made for something more. Whether interpreted theologically or philosophically, this observation resonates deeply. Many individuals spend years pursuing success only to discover that accomplishment alone cannot provide enduring fulfillment. The book also explores love as action rather than mere emotion. Lewis argues that behavior often shapes feeling. People sometimes wait to feel compassionate before acting kindly. Lewis reverses the sequence. Practice kindness. Extend patience. Choose generosity. Emotions may gradually follow. This insight aligns closely with contemporary behavioral psychology. Actions influence identity. Behavior affects emotional experience. Toward the end of the book, Lewis emphasizes the importance of perseverance. Transformation rarely occurs instantly. People stumble, fail, recover, learn. Spiritual maturity resembles a lifelong journey rather than a single decision. This perspective offers encouragement. Growth need not be perfect to remain meaningful. Progress matters. Ultimately, Mere Christianity invites readers into conversation. Lewis does not demand blind acceptance. He presents arguments, raises questions, acknowledges difficulties, and encourages thoughtful engagement. Whether one embraces Christianity, remains unconvinced, or occupies some middle ground, the book's enduring popularity reflects its intellectual honesty and profound humanity. It asks readers to consider timeless questions. What makes life meaningful? Why do moral obligations feel real? Can people genuinely change? What role should humility play in success? How should we navigate longing, suffering, and hope? Perhaps the greatest lesson is this: becoming a better person involves more than accumulating knowledge. It requires courage, honesty, humility, and the willingness to continually align actions with convictions. In a world often dominated by certainty and polarization, Lewis models something increasingly rare: strong convictions held alongside intellectual curiosity. And perhaps that combination remains one of the most valuable forms of wisdom available to us today. In summary, key concepts from the book Mere Christianity. 1. The moral law. Humans appear to recognize objective standards of fairness. 2. The gap between ideals and actions. Knowing the good differs from practicing it. 3. Character formation. Repeated choices shape identity. 4. Transformation over improvement. Deep growth changes who we become. 5. Humility. Freedom from excessive self-focus. 6. Hope beyond achievement. Success alone cannot satisfy all human longing. 7. Love through action. Behavior often precedes feeling. Everyday takeaways for you: align daily behavior with your values. Practice humility without diminishing your strengths. Recognize that meaningful growth takes time. Focus on character, not merely achievement. Don't wait to feel motivated before acting kindly. Remain curious about life's deeper questions. Have you read Mere Christianity? What book has challenged the way you think about morality, meaning, or faith? Share your recommendations below. Please subscribe and comment.